Hey everybody, welcome back to Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. And we just finished the first part of the court case. We're at recess now. We saw through a lie about the Espella from the Professor Layton part was arrested on a ship. She was accused of attacking a crewmate with a pipe, hitting them in the back of the head. But the security guard testified that he saw them face to face, so she couldn't have hit the person in the back of the head if they were fighting face to face. And also that there were a bunch of stuffed animals and that a tag was found in her hand, but he testified that there was nothing wrong with the room, basically. There wasn't any mess or anything. So that's kind of where we got in the first part, and now the prosecution is calling a different witness. They're mad that they just wanted him to roll over, but of course we're going to refuse. Justice must be served. So let's go. Phew, glad that first part's over. That witness was quite a character. I bet he'd love to be one in a crime drama. End up making it a comedy, though. I'd hate it if poor Espella was found guilty because of his shaky testimony. But at least now it looks like we might be able to get Espella a not guilty verdict. Yeah, I hope that cheered Espella up a bit. Dark Law. Ack! I forgot about Dark Law. She's reading my newspaper. Maybe it's just me, but she doesn't look pleased. Oh, it's you. I appreciate your efforts, Mr. Wright. Thank you. But while I understand your drive to win this case... My drive? This is not the time for your personal ambitions. I told you before, didn't I? That Espella is pleading guilty, and that you should accept the proposed punishment. This incident has already been settled between our school and the police. But, Miss Darklaw, Espella could be innocent. Believe me, it will be in Espella's best interest if you end the trial as soon as possible. The more this trial drags on, the more traumatic it is for this poor girl. I'm sorry. She may be saying that she's guilty, but is she really? In any case, Mr. Wright, we don't want our school being shoved into the limelight because of this case. So if you would please to refrain from picking at such meaningless details, such as that toy. Get this trial over with quickly. It is your client's wish, Mr. Wright. I understand. I'll do my best. It's a relief to hear that. Let's go, Espella. Yes, Miss Darklaw. What the heck was that all about? We've been busting our butts in there trying to prove Espella is innocent, and now she just expects us to give up now? Why are you yelling at me, Maya? But when you think about it, Darklaw's acting very strange. Her own pupil is on trial, and she just stands reading other people's newspapers. Yeah, what is she so busy reading about anyway? There's nothing about Espella in that paper. Was she checking the soccer scores or something? Jewel thieves in London. The break is almost over. We better go back. Flinch looked really confident about this new witness. I'm Espella's defense attorney. I'll stand by her no matter what. The court will now reconvene. Prosecution, is your witness ready? Of course, Your Honor. Bailiff, please bring her in. Witness, state your name and occupation.
My name is Olivia Raldente. The warm winds of the Mediterranean Sea carry the spicy scent of a seafood stew.
I make her the spicy pasta.
A hot Sicilian stew that soothes the hearts of sailors braving the raging waters. Blessed be the Sicilian cuisine and il nostro mare.
I already like her. Yes, Miss Al Dente is employed as a cook on the freighter where the crime happened. A cook? That's some interesting attire you're wearing, Miss Al Dente. This is my work outfit. It gets very hot in the kitchen, you know. Gotta work on my Italian. It's a me, Miss Al Dente. Will be a pleasant change after that cockaholic guard. He really got up my nose. Nice to see the judge is remaining impartial. Miss Al Dente discovered the defendant in the cargo hold when she went for supplies. She found Espella. That would make her the crew member that Johnny saw fighting with Espella. That's right, Mr. Wright. Miss Al Dente was the first person to discover the intruder. Then she is the victim of assault, hit with a steel pipe. How cruel. If I'd only had my precious kitchen knife with me at the time, I'd have shown her my exceptional cutting skills. Giggle. Nick, look at that. She's an expert potato peeler. You better watch out around her. I'll keep that in mind. Witness, we will now hear your testimony. Describe to us what happened in the cargo hold. Certamente, gladly. I went to the cargo hold to check the supplies. It was past 10 p.m. And I found that girl hiding and clutching one of them bizarro toys. She made as if to run away, so I tried to stop her, and she grabbed the pipe. She's short, but she fiercely swung the pipe at me. I tried to dodge. But she hit me on the head. I blacked out for a few minutes. According to the med report, you suffered a laceration on your head, is correct? Ah, that. It's covered by the chef hat, so you can't see it now. But when I chop up a veggies, it hurts in the rhythm of the stripes. Chop, chop, chop. That sounds most terrible, Miss Al Dente. I should have been more careful. She look like a little piccolo girl. Olivia's much taller than Espella. Yeah, Espella's about the same size as you. I may be short, but I'm well proportioned, and that's what matters. Okay. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to present the decisive evidence that proves the defendant's guilt. This is a photograph of the defendant's fingerprints on the steel pipe. As you can see, the fingerprints are very clear. They were left by the assailant. They have already been examined and found to be those of the defendant. Well, that settles it. This is undoubtedly decisive evidence. Ooh, what? The fingerprints on the weapon are Espella's. Just to put the inquisitive mind at peace, Mr. Wright, there were no other fingerprints. This photograph shall be added to the evidence. It's interesting that it's in black and white. Have I not warned you, Mr. Wright? Further examination is but a waste of time. Nick, what do we do now? This evidence clearly points to Espella. We're pleading that Espella's not guilty. And if she's innocent, then the witness is lying. All we need to do is expose that lie. I've got to think straight and focus on finding the truth. The defense may cross-examine the witness. You had to check the supplies at that late hour. It must be tough being a cook. Know the old saying, a thirsty sailor would drink the old Mediterranean Sea? That's why I always need to make sure we're properly stocked up, sweetie. Ugh, is she making those sayings up? The incident occurred at 10:20 p.m. when Smiles was doing the rounds. I see. Understood. And what happened in the cargo hold?
Hold it!
And the bizarre toy she was holding is none other than... PC Badger, was it? The girl held it in a tight grip, like a Seahawk holds its prey. Are you certain it was the defendant? It's kind of dark in that room, but I swear on Neptune it was her. The witness was engaged in a face-to-face fight with the defendant. Even if the room was poorly lit, there's no doubt she would recognize her assailant. Espella was holding PC Badger. Did she intend to steal it? What did the witness do upon discovering the intruder?
Hold it!
The defendant tried to escape? She had nowhere to run, though, because she was at the far end of the room. I'm really good at catching chickens that try to run from my knife, so I got her rapidamente. And when you caught her, things took a violent turn. Yeah, she was so small, you know, and she wouldn't think she had it in her. There was a steel pipe propped next to the wall, right next to her. Was it the pipe from this picture? Yeah, she picked it up and held it in both hands, and then...
Hold it!
You're sure it was the defendant that swung the pipe at you?
Objection!
We know it was the defendant because her fingerprints were found on the weapon. As you can see, she held the pipe with both hands, just as the witness stated. Espella's fingerprints. That's some hard evidence. But then again... What is it, Nick? There's something about those fingerprints. Oh, it sounds like you're onto something, Nick. Don't get too excited. It's just a hunch. These fingerprints. They don't look quite right to me for some reason. Espella swung this pipe while holding it in both hands. In any case, pray tell us what happened after the defendant took a swing at you. But she hit me on the head. I blacked out for a few minutes.
Hold it!
Do you remember the moment you were hit? Sort of. It was dark, so I'm not sure exactly how it happened. See, I'm clever with my fingers, but not that good at dodging steel pipes, so I got it. And you're positive there was no one else at the crime scene? Yep, that cute guard suddenly walked in, sort of nonchalantly. Now that I think about it. The door suddenly opened, I turned towards it. That must have been when I got it, so it is fault. Huh? Oh, I'll have my revenge. They say my special spice blend is too strong for human consumption. I don't think he'll ever will be able to taste the chocolate afterwards. She says while smiling. Scary. Johnny said she saw the moment Olivia was hit. Yeah, and he didn't see anyone else enter the room either. So, when I came to, the guard boy had already captured that girl. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with her testimony. Still. Got any ideas, Nick? This one piece of evidence has been on my mind. It's not something easy to see, but it feels out of place. I didn't notice anything. I better take a second look at the court record. I've got nothing concrete, but just a hunch to go on. But should I present that? Where's the court record? Oh, I guess it's under this. so I can see the details. I mean, you can see the fingerprints, but they did say it was hers. So when you grab something, looks about right. Maybe I should get a hint. There we go.
Objection!
It's an interesting hint system. You're claiming that the defendant swung the pipe at you. Well, that's impossible. Well, why do you say that, sweetie? The defendant's fingerprints were found on the pipe. However, there's a contradiction here. A contradiction? Impossible! That is most interesting. Well then, the defense shall explain. What in this photo of the fingerprints contradicts the testimony? Is it the position of the fingerprints? It's the position of the fingerprints, Your Honor. Oh, the position? According to the witness's testimony, the defendant held the pipe like this. In order to hit the witness on the head, she raised the pipe like so. And that is precisely what she did. And then she struck from above. But here's the problem. Think about the fingerprints that she would have left had she done just that. What are you getting at, Mr. Wright? Look closely at the way I'm holding in the pipe. In this situation, the fingerprints would look like this. The thumb is above the other fingers. Indeed, there's no doubt about it. Now, take a look at the fingerprints that were actually found on the pipe. Goodness, the thumb, it's below the other fingers. Well, what? That's right. Miss Al Dente. What is it? Had the defendant attacked you as you described, the fingerprints would have been the other way around, which means something's not right with your testimony. Order! What is the meaning of this? Those fingerprints were submitted as decisive evidence. How come this contradiction was not brought to light before? Miss Al Dente, what do you have to say about this? Excuse me, Miss Al Dente? Now, out to bring out the full sweetness of the sweet potato? Huh? You use a pinch of salt. Interesting, right? You use salt to make something taste sweeter. I'm not following. I remember now, it was the other way around, not as you'd expect it. I'm sorry, I got a bit confused. You'd normally hold a pipe like that, but she's so small and the pipe is heavy, so she held it the other way. The other way? Not like this. She held it this way.
Objection!
But you testified that she fiercely swung the pipe at you. I'm telling you, I got confused. Olivia's sorry, okay? How could you mistake the way she held the pipe if it was right in front of you? Oh, why don't you go fry an egg? What does it matter if she held it one way or another? You would have called slightly salted sweet potato a salty potato because it was still a sweet potato no matter what you add to it. The witness probably has a point, doesn't she, Mr. A? Ugh. So the defendant attacked the witness holding the pipe backhanded. Seems a bit unnatural, but it does make sense, I suppose. Indeed it does, Your Honor. There is no problem with this evidence, after all. Does the defense agree? If I agree there are no problems with this evidence, we'll be one step away from toss at losing this case. There's got to be a contradiction somewhere in that fishy testimony. Could Espella have hit Olivia holding the pipe backhanded?
Objection!
Well, Miss Al Dente, I'm afraid that you're in a pickle now. I don't really see why. Adding a pack of lies to a testimony can turn things very sour for a witness. It seems the defense is prepared to prove its claim. There's a contradiction in this witness's testimony. Correct, Your Honor. I won't know until I try. The defense shall now present evidence to the court. The evidence contradicting the assertion that the defendant hit the witness holding the pipe backhanded is... Let's see. Because it was hit to the back of the head. That has to be it, right?
Take that!
Miss Al Dente, you previously testified that you were using that hat to cover the wound you received in the assault. It's a normal for senoritas to cover things up they don't want others to see. That's not all. You also described the defendant as little, if you recall. That is to say, Miss Cantabella is at the very least shorter than you. I've grown tall and healthy thanks to the wonderful Mediterranean sunshine. Let me ask you then. How did a girl shorter than you, holding a heavy pipe backhanded, manage to land a blow to the back of your head? I'd say it's impossible. The fingerprints on the weapon show that the defendant held it backhanded. But even if she didn't, it is highly unlikely she would be able to hit Miss Al Dente's head like that. Order! I will have order! What is the defense getting at?
Objection!
Even if it was highly unlikely, it cannot be proven that it was impossible. Miss Cantabella's fingerprints were found on the pipe, Your Honor. Nothing can change the fact that it was the defendant who held the weapon. That is so. Does the defense have any comments? I can't deny that. It's clear that Espella did hold the pipe. She held it like this, right? Why would she do that? It'd be hard to hit anyone like this. When she holds it like that, it looks as if the court recognizes the validity of the prosecution's argument. Fingerprints on the weapon prove that it was used by the defendant.
Objection!
The defendant's fingerprints may be on the pipe. However, that doesn't prove she hit anyone with it.
Objection!
Nonsense. Why else would she pick up the steel pipe for?
Objection!
Oh, I think I've got a pretty good idea. Well then, the defense may elaborate on this idea. What I say next will turn this trial around. The defendant's fingerprints were left on the weapon when she tried to defend herself. Well, naturally. She held the pipe with both hands when she stopped it from coming down on her head. Stopped it? Ooh, with both hands? That's right, like this. Please take another look at this photo. These are not the fingerprints of the assailant. Rather, the fingerprints of the victim who is defending herself. Which brings us to the conclusion. That Miss Cantabella didn't attack the witness. She was in fact a victim, desperately trying to defend herself. And this cannot be! And if Miss Cantabella was a victim, who was the real assailant? There's only one person who could have done it. The only other person at the crime scene was Olivia Al Dente. It was you, wasn't it? Yeah. Order! If I cannot have order, this court will be adjourned. Be quiet, all of you. You just don't quit, do you? A lousy lawyer like you should get the chop. How about I show you my knife up close?
Objection!
Have you lost your mind, Mr. Wright? The witness is the victim, not the assailant. Here are no fingerprints other than the defendant's on the weapon.
Objection!
Look at the witness's outfit. She was wearing gloves. That's why she left no fingerprints. Ah, you prickly sea urchin.
Objection!
But you cannot be sure she was wearing gloves that night.
Objection!
The witness has called this her work outfit, so she must have been wearing it when she went to check supplies.
Hold it!
You devious lawyer, slippery as an eel. It was me because I had gloves on? As if it was only me wearing gloves. She is the only one in the courtroom wearing gloves. And there was that guy, the guard. He was wearing gloves too. The guard? Oh, that was the previous witness. Oh, that's right. Gloves are a part of the guard's uniform by regulation. I got the evidence for this one. See, that guard, Johnny, he was wearing the gloves that night too. What do you say to that, Mr. Wright? Since you're claiming the assailant is the person who had gloves on, that would make the guard a suspect as well. Could Johnny be the culprit? It's impossible. Johnny Smiles is not the culprit. Why not? Anyone with gloves that could have done it. Didn't you just say that? No, I didn't. However, it does seem plausible that the guard could have done it. He was wearing gloves after all. I'm afraid that it's impossible, Your Honor, and I have proof. You do? Fascinating. Let's see this proof if you really do have it. Please enlighten us as to why Smiles cannot be the culprit. Provide the proof.
Take that!
Mr. Smiles is, to put it nicely, what you may call a free spirit. There's no guarantee he would follow the rules and wear his full uniform. And this evidence proves that he did not wear gloves. Oh, wait, don't throw that filthy torch at me. Will someone please wipe the chocolate off of this evidence? No, Your Honor, this chocolate is the evidence. What? Mr. Smiles was snacking on a chocolate bar during his patrol. That's why his flashlight is in this sorry state. And covered in his chocolatey fingerprints. Therefore, we know that he didn't wear the gloves while patrolling the ship that night. Rule-breaking, chocolate-loving Johnny Smiles was not the culprit. What? Well, that's ridiculous. It's too silly.
Objection!
Your Honor, the defense has merely pointed out a possibility. And to call this witness a criminal without actual evidence against her is preposterous.
Objection!
The prosecution's duty is to clear what doubts there may be regarding the defendant's guilt. And I have demonstrated that there is, at the very least, a possibility that the witness is not telling the truth.
Objection!
At the very least, Espella Cantabella is not innocent. as corroborated by PC Badger, the toy that she attempted to steal. What was that? Did Olivia just freeze for a second? Prosecutor Flinch, explain to the court about this toy, this new piece of evidence. This is the stuffed toy the defendant tried to steal that night. One of its legs would appear to be missing. The poor thing. This mishap befell PC Badger as the witness and defendant were fighting. The captain of the freighter reported the damage after the defendant's arrest. So the stuffed animal Olivia snatched from Espella. I see. The court would like to hear the witness's testimony regarding this evidence. Witness, your testimony. Could you stop chopping the eel, please? Excuse me, witness, you've been asked to testify. I'm so very sorry, I got a little upset from all these accusations. I'm not used to this, being called a liar. Yes, it's only natural, don't worry about that. It's all that Slimy's attorney's fault. Why do I feel like an eel on a chopping board? The witness will now testify. Tell us how you retrieved this toy from the defendant. Gladly. Odel no scrombaro. I wonder what she's saying. I don't get it. Whatever she said, I'll make sure this is the last time she says it in court. I wrestled this toy back from the thief and then gave it to the police. When I found that girl, I thought I couldn't let her get away with our precious cargo. Naturalmente, I had to get that toy back from her first. Its leg got ripped off, though. But there's no way I could have attacked her with the pipe. I was holding the toy in one hand. I don't remember much about when I was it, but I got the toy back at least. I see. What a commendable attitude, going to such lengths to protect the cargo. I may not be a security guard, but I'll do what it takes for the sake of our ship. Didn't do much good in the end. This PT Badger is way too damaged to be sold. These lovely little toys are made at a workshop in London. We transport them down the River Thames, distributing them to children as we go. Didn't she call them bizarro toys earlier? Now suddenly they're cute. And what about the fingerprints on this toy? It is a soft toy, after all. No usable fingerprints were found. Well, that's unfortunate. Regardless, the court accepts that into evidence. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. So the main thing that sticks out to me is they say the tag was missing, but this toy still has its tag. The tag, but the leg was ripped off. Plus, it doesn't look like a badger. Guess I'm gonna have to press. When you enter the cargo hold, Espella had the stuffed animal. Naturalmente, I caught her red-handed. She was trying to steal it, I'm telling you. To be honest, it doesn't sound like she's lying. But is Espella really a thief? I can't be sure about it. Just picking something up doesn't make you a thief. Anyway, something else about her testimony is on my mind right now. Has the defense changed its mind about the innocence of its client now? Witness, continued testimony. What did you do after coming across the defendant?
Hold it!
This precious cargo was picked up from London. Yeah, the workshop where they make them is by the River Thames. We come to pick up the cargo regularly. As it's a regular direct delivery service, we do not need to investigate the cargo. If you confiscated our cargo for inspection, I wouldn't be able to carry out my cooking experiments. Confiscate? What the heck is she cooking with exactly? I think we can all see how committed Miss Al Dente is to her work. Commitment and passion are the main ingredients of every dish I cook.
Hold it!
The stuffed animal's leg got ripped off when you were fighting? Yeah, it came off easier than the shell from a freshly boiled lobster. Let's see, this thing does seem kind of flimsy. Stop picking on PC Badger. He may be a plushie, but that's no reason to make fun of him. It's not very well, though. Not made very well, though. Looks like it may just come apart if you pull it a bit. I ripped it out of the girl's hands and kept it with me until the police came. Let's try to present this.
Objection!
I guess I screwed up. I'm gonna use a hit coin. So that's it, huh? Well, Nick, this one's easy. I know what to do. You finally started to act like your normal self. That jet lag must have hit you like a ton of bricks, huh? There's a clear contradiction in Olivia's testimony. Time to present some evidence and expose her lies.
Objection!
I just presented it at the wrong time. Which is what I thought I did. Miss Al Dente, I would like to confirm just one thing. The stuffed animal you submitted to the police. Is it this one? Yeah, that's the one, no doubt about it. Sounded Swedish there. I'm sorry, but if that's the case, things simply don't add up. What doesn't add up? It's about the leg. It's that girl's fault. It got ripped off because she wouldn't let it go. The problem is not something that's missing from the stuffed animal. On the contrary, it's something that shouldn't be there in the first place. Something that shouldn't be there. And this is, of course, and that is, of course, this item. That's the final piece of evidence received from the guard, Mr. Smiles. When I seized the girl at the crime scene, she was clasping this in her hand. She didn't even seem to notice. And what would that be? It would appear to be PC Badger's tag, Your Honor. Strange, isn't it? Something was definitely ripped off this plushie. But it wasn't its leg, it was the tag. You noticed it too, didn't you, Miss Al Dente? If this is the stuffed animal that Miss Cantabella was holding when you found her, then why is the tag still on it? Order, order, I will have order. Hey, you tasteless-looking prosecutor over there. Yes? What is this about a tag? You didn't tell me anything about that. If you'll please calm down. It's no use blaming the prosecutor. How did he even know this tag? He didn't even know this tag existed.
Objection!
Well, witness, I had not been informed of such evidence. If you had this in your possession, why didn't you hand it to the police? Sorry, Mr. Prosecutor. I'm an expert at what I do. And my expert advice to myself was that I'd better keep this as my secret weapon. So I waited for the right moment to single-handedly settle this trial. For better or for worse, the tag's existence has only recently come to light. Neither the prosecution nor you, Your Honor, knew about it before this trial. Why? But then why is there a tag on this toy? How come this toy has a tag? Why tag on toy? The answer is simple. There's a tag on the stuffed animal because there's only one possibility. Miss Al Dente, before handing the plushie into the police, you swapped it for another. Yeah. Listen to yourself. Why would I even do something like that? Ridiculous. And that's right. That tag must be a fake. A fake? Why would you think that? That chocolate freak must be trying to frame me. That's what it is.
Objection!
Mr. Smiles has no motive to do something like that.
Objection!
No motive? He doesn't require much thinking to come up with one. He wanted attention. Yes, what he said. The guard lied to show off. That's all there is to it. Did Johnny produce bogus evidence to draw attention to himself? It's an interesting theory, but it's impossible. And now, do you know? I'll dice you like an onion. Anyway, was Mr. Smiles lying? There's an easy way to find out. What? How do you plan to check it? By checking the fingerprints, of course. Fingerprints, huh? According to Mr. Smiles' testimony, when he sees Miss Cantabella, she was holding this tag in her hand. Therefore, her fingerprint should still be on that tag. Bailiff, have this evidence investigated immediately. That was awesome, Nick. We've almost got her now. Mr. Flinch, I have a question for you. What is it? When you searched for the crime scene, did you find a toy without a tag? Well, Mr. Flinch, did you? No, considering the circumstances, it did not seem necessary to investigate quite so thoroughly. But at the very least, I can tell you that all the toys in the crate had tags on. Excuse me, Your Honor. What is it, Mr. Wright? It appears that no stuffed animal was found without a tag. Which means that it may still be hidden at the crime scene. Your Honor, the defense requests that this ship be searched thoroughly this time. Send a forensics team there immediately. You're requesting another search?
Objection!
What? Surely you can't be serious. Whether the toy was swapped or not, that doesn't matter in the least. They're the same. Any of them will do this just fine. That's exactly why this is important. All these plushies are the same. There's no need to swap one for the other. And yet... why is the witness getting so worked up about it? And who let her bring an eel in here? That's just... I had a feeling there was something odd about this case. A stolen stuffed animal, an assault connected to it. There had to be more to it. There had to be another crime under the surface. Nick, this is it. What should I do? Your Honor, the defense insists on a search. Should a plushie without a tag be found on the ship? And there's a strong possibility that this case will be resolved.
Objection!
She's got a tuna?
You can't! No, you can't search it again! You just can't!
Oh, goodness. Miss Al Dente, why did you swap the stuffed animal? And why are you so afraid of having the ship searched? PC Badger holds all the answers. Oh, I say, Mr. Wright, could it be that you already know the reason behind the swap? Of course, I don't have any definitive proof, But when it comes to pointing out a possibility, I might have something. Very well then, let's see some evidence. It's the only evidence that's not connected to anything else. Do you have any evidence that would explain why Miss Al Dente is against the search? Jewel thieves.
Take that!
There is a certain article in this newspaper. Elusive jewel thieves at large in London. Scotland Yard on red alert. Oh, that robbery. I've heard about it, of course. A group of thieves robbed a jewelry shop and made away with about 50 pieces of jewelry. Many extremely valuable stones were stolen as well. Scotland Yard's under great pressure to find them. All packages sent out from London are being scrutinized by the police. And what does this have to do with our case? Nothing. I beg to differ. The jewel theft took place in London. And that's where our freighter picked up its cargo. London? It can't be. Witness? That night, you discovered the defendant in the cargo hold. She was holding one of the plushies. You knew you had to get it back. You had to get it back at all costs, but why go so far for a mere plushie? There's only one possible reason. You couldn't afford to have the police discover what was inside of it. That was good. She got fish slapped. We have just received a report from the team investigating the crime scene. This toy was hidden between a storage unit and a pipe. The toy's been cut open and the contents examined. And this was found inside, a pink diamond worth approximately 100,000 pounds. We have also received a report from the crime lab. The defendant's fingerprints have been found on the tag. Do you have anything to say, Miss Al Dente? It's got the fin mark. I lost, didn't I? So you are a... Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm one of the jewel thieves. My role was to get the loot out of London. The police never checked the regular shipments from the workshop. We decided to take advantage of that blind spot. Indeed, the regular direct delivery service has been overlooked by the police. Possibly because that workshop produces the very mascots representing the police. The other crew had nothing to do with it. I used their ship, that's all. It was you who hid the jewels inside the plushies? And there was one jewel in each toy. It was carrying them away one by one. The defendant happened to pick one of the toys up. I had my heart stand still when I saw that girl in the cargo hold. Whenever I was free, I stood guard in front of that room, yet she got in somehow. So there she was in the room with the in loot, one of the toys in her hand. So how did Espella get in there? I don't know what she was trying to steal, the toy or what. But I just had to get it back from her, no matter the cost. Then I ended in a different toy. I made it look like it was ripped in the fight. It would have been over for me if the police found any of the jewels. But, wait. Who was it in the end? Who hit Olivia? Oh, I almost forgot about that.
At first, I thought it must have been that little girl that hit me. But now I don't know.
You don't know?
No one else was supposed to be in that room. But what if there was someone in the shadows? Some mischievous person hidden in the darkness.
Dun dun dun. This was a most unusual case. cannot be said that all mysteries have been resolved, but it has become clear that Miss Cantabella is innocent. Well then, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? It would seem that I owe you thanks for helping us see the truth. No need to thank me, Your Honor. I was just doing my job, like I always do. Is that really the smartest thing you can come up with? And Mr. Flinch. Yes, Your Honor. This trial is part of the Legal League of Attorneys exchange program, wasn't it? May this trial serve as a lesson for you too. Is that understood?
Ooh. It is as you say, Your Honor. Don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look! Without my glasses, I can't see, and I don't want to be seen. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they?
Well, that was weird. Well then. Why are his eyes so tiny? Well, I'm not embarrassed of my tiny eyes. The court has reached its verdict. I pronounce the defendant, Espella Cantabella, not guilty. Woo! Wah, 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 wah. Congratulations, you did it, Nick. Yeah, thanks. I guess I should be happy. But Darklaw's cold gaze is staring daggers through me. Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're better than I had thought. Had I known earlier, I would have asked you to prove Espella innocent from the start. I'm glad you're happy about the verdict. Espella, come and thank Mr. Wright. Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'm glad I could help. Hey, Espella. What's that big book you've got there? Oh, please forgive her. She's a bit shy, you see. She's very fond of books. At any rate, now Espella can return to her peaceful life at our boarding school. And it's all thanks to your hard work, Mr. Wright. Now, please excuse us. We have some formalities to attend to. Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Wright, you were truly outstanding in that courtroom today. Farewell. Phew, it's finally over. You know something that's still bothering me about this case? The person who hit Olivia. Where did they go? That's true. We don't know who actually assaulted Olivia. If it wasn't Espella, there must have been another person at the crime scene. Yeah, we've established that. But neither Olivia nor Johnny saw anyone else. The room was dark, save for an emergency light. I'm sure it was possible for someone to hide in the shadows. And Johnny was wearing sunglasses. Amazed he saw anything at all. He missed all those clues, too, so it's not much of a stretch to imagine he missed the perpetrator as well. How about we head back now? Okay, let's go check out Tower Bridge while we still have some daylight left.
Oh!
What is it, Maya?
There, on the couch. Isn't that Espella's book? It is the book she was holding. We should return it to her.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Hey, Nick. Let's see what kind of stuff Espella likes to read.
Just quit it, Maya.
Labyrinthia, huh?
What?
Huh?
Huh? Maya, look!
Huh? Hey, Nick, look. That's us, isn't it?
To be continued. Alright, so the plot should really get cooking in the next one. I lost one of my credibility points, so I didn't earn as many pickerats as I could have. Oh well. Alright, so I'm going to save it here, and we will pick this up next week on Friday. Tomorrow we will have another Broken Sword 2 episode. We're kind of getting into the plot on that one. It was a little meandering, but there were some funny parts in the last one, but we should be getting into some good stuff next time. Tomorrow, and then Wario Land Judgment